Hello friends. I am Abhishek Bhagwat and I am Abhishek Bhagwat. I'm associate professor in mechanical engineering department. So this video is typically for Sanjeevani students. So uh, so first of all, if you have any problems while learning this, going through this video, having interaction, then you can definitely write an email to me on bhagwatabhishekmake@sanjeevani.org.in. That is my contact number. You can WhatsApp me, you can email me. I will try my best to answer you and answer your queries. This video is typically for the heat transfer subject. The course code is 302042 for Pune University, and in general, the heat transfer is considered as very tricky subject. So before going to all the things that are there in heat transfer, we will have look at the syllabus. We will have a look at what is expected from the students, why we are teaching this subject, and what is expected out of the students. At the end of the syllabus, the student should be able to do certain things, or at least he should be able to understand the basic physics in the heat transfer process. So saying that, I hope everything is well in your family, everything is safe in this COVID-19 situation all over the world. The learning has also changed. So we will be having a hybrid learning, some portion online, some portion maybe having maintaining certain social distancing, and then we can go on teaching. So I don't know exactly what are the guidelines from the government, but definitely we can go ahead like this, and this situation is definitely going to change. Okay, so this is the syllabus of the Pune University. You have 100 marks exam, out of which in same exam you have 30 marks, 70 marks for the final exam. So final exam is of 2.5 hours exam. In same exam is of, I think, 1 hour exam. In practical you have 50 marks. Generally in a week you have 4 theory lectures and 1 lecture of practical, which is of 2 hours. So what is the course objective? Why are we learning this particular subject? So the first objective that needs to be fulfilled from the student community, and it is the responsibility of teacher to see whether that objective is getting fulfilled or not. So the first objective is identify the important modes of heat transfer and their applications. So after learning this syllabus, you should be able to look at a process and at least have a grasp of the physics that is happening there. You should be able to understand what is the mode of heat transfer that is actually taking place in that particular equipment or in that process. Second thing is formulate and apply the general three-dimensional heat conduction equation. So all the processes that you look around, all these processes are three-dimensional processes. But for the sake of simplicity, we reduce these three-dimensional equations into two-dimensional, one-dimensional, and simplify the process, saying that to get to corroborate the fact, whatever the experimental data we have, we need to validate that data with the actual testing or actual experiment. So that's why this understanding of those equations is very, very important. Third, analyze the thermal systems with internal heat generation and lumped heat capacitance. So internal heat generation is something like, to be in layman's language, we can say that internal heat generation is like some process which is happening inside that particular equipment or that process, that there is some kind of internal heat generation, like say a nuclear reactor. You have a fuel rod inside which there is a nuclear fuel which is generating heat. Okay, that is the internal heat generation for nuclear reactor. So such kind of processes. Lumped heat capacitance is something different. We will see it in detail as we proceed through the syllabus. Fourth course objective is understand the mechanism of convective heat transfer. So in this world, almost like 70-80% problems that you see around is of convection. Convection is like, some fluid is flowing over some surface and it is taking, heat out of that surface. Let us say I'm sitting in this room and the weather is very hot. I just need a cooling effect. So what I do, I start the fan on the ceiling. So as I go on increasing the speed, what happens, more and more air that is coming on my body, because of which I have this cooling effect. So this is convection. So that flow is taking away all the heat from my body. This is convection. Fifth objective is determine the radiative heat transfer between the surfaces. Radiation is like you have a sun and you have earth. So the heat transfer is taking place by radiation because there is a vacuum between earth and sun. Okay, so through radiation that heat is sucked into atmosphere, and from atmosphere that heat is scattered throughout the world. Okay, so that is like this. That is radiation. Then sixth point is describe the various two-phase heat transfer phenomenon. This is the most latest research that is going on in this area and very hot topic for the research. If any of you want to make a career in heat transfer and as a thermal engineer, this holds a tremendous scope in future. Execute the effectiveness and rating of heat exchangers. Okay, so once you understand this process, what is two-phase heat transfer process, it is like a boiling phenomena. Okay, so if you have a surface which is very hot, okay, it is like maybe 700 degrees Celsius, 800 degrees Celsius. Like in nuclear reactor, you have a nuclear rod bundle which reach up to the temperature of 600, 700 degrees Celsius, provided that there is a water cooling outside. Then only that temperature is there. If that water cooling stops, then what happens? That temperature shoots up because there is continuous internal heat generation from nuclear fuel. So due to which the temperature goes very high, 900 degrees Celsius, 1000 degrees Celsius. So in such situation, what happens? Those nuclear rods are cooled by the water jets. So when the water jet falls and on that hot surface, it immediately evaporates. So there is a phase transfer from liquid to the vapor. So that is two-phase heat transfer. Okay, जैसे मसाला डोसा बनाना है हमको. Okay, if I want to make a masala dosa, you might have visited many of the street foods. So they have this tawa, pan. So they wash it out and they immediately put a water. So what happens? Those droplets immediately evaporates into vapor. Okay, that is two-phase heat transfer process. Then execute the effectiveness and rating of heat exchangers. Heat exchanger is nothing but an equipment used for the thermal management of the system. So if I am using that heat exchanger, then what is the effectiveness? How do I rate that thermal management system? So that is the portion that we will cover later in the syllabus. Okay, so these are the course outcome. As we said, we have covered it, but these are the very specific course outcomes that we need to get from this learning. First is analyze the various modes of heat transfer and implement the basic heat conduction equations for steady one-dimensional thermal system. One-dimensional. Okay, you need to understand three-dimensional system, but at least you should be able to apply one-dimensional heat conduction equation. That is first course outcome. Second course outcome is implement the general heat conduction equation to thermal systems with and without internal heat generation and transient heat conduction. Now if there is a process which is generating heat, you need to understand how it is generating that heat. If every time step that heat is getting changed, how to deal with it. Third course outcome is analyze the heat transfer rate in natural and forced convection and evaluate through experimentation investigation. Now this is a very important point now. What is natural convection and what is forced convection? Forced convection is what? I am sitting in this room fan is running. So that is forced convection. You need an external agency to force that airflow on my body so that I can get cooling effect. And the natural convection, it is like I'm sitting in open field. After too much of running, too much of exercise, I'm just taking a rest. So this slowly, what happens? My body cools down. That is natural convection, because of natural phenomenon that is occurring outside your body, that cooling effect takes place. That is natural convection. Fourth outcome is interpret heat transfer by radiation between objects with simple geometries. Like you have a small cube, two cubes, very hot, 900 degrees Celsius. So how those hot cubes are interacting with each other, if there is a vacuum in between these two, that we should understand. Fifth, analyze the heat transfer equipment and investigate the performance. So if you are given an equipment, simple equipment, wherein there is a simple cube, you apply some heat, then you need to find out the temperature, what will be the temperature on the other side due to heat conduction. Such kind of simple things you need to understand. So these are the very basic things. So as you advance in this topic, you will come to know that it's a very beautiful subject, very beautiful, although very complex, but very beautiful subject. Okay, so syllabus, unit 1. Now we come to the main point. How many units are there? What will be the questions? What are the questions that were asked in the last 5 years? How can I pass the exam? Is it possible to get maximum marks? How can the examiner trick you into a different thing, and it can damage your performance? So that is all different thing. We will see it in later videos, but at this point of time, let us complete what are the syllabus that we are going to learn, course outcome that we have seen, and if I map that course outcomes with the syllabus, we will come to know what exactly is expected out of you. So unit 1, introduction and basic concepts. Okay, so in unit 1 we will cover what are the different types of heat transfer mechanisms, okay, and what are the basic concepts for those mechanisms. So in that particular topic we will be covering application, areas of heat transfer, modes, what are the modes and laws of heat transfer, three-dimensional heat conduction equation, which is the first outcome. You need to reduce that three-dimensional equation into one-dimensional equation and see what will be its effect, and that application has to be there. Okay, what is thermal conductivity, thermal diffusivity, thermal contact resistance, then boundary and initial condition. Now if I apply some constant heat on one surface, what will happen? If I apply constant temperature on that surface, what will happen? If that surface is covered with some insulation material, what will happen? If that surface is getting exposed to the convection or the forced airflow, what will happen? These are all different boundary conditions, so we need to understand that. Then so those typically classified as temperature boundary condition, heat flux boundary condition, convection boundary condition, radiation boundary condition. One dimensional steady state heat conduction without heat generation. Okay, so if I want to apply an equation of heat conduction, how do I apply? I need to understand three-dimensional, and then I have to reduce that three-dimensional equation to the one-dimensional equation and then apply. Okay, how the heat conduction takes place in plain wall, in composite slab, if you have one metal, if you have second metal, and there is a heat transfer between these two, how the heat transfer takes place, is the temperature same, is the heat flux same, how those gradients come into picture, all those things. Okay, composite cylinder. Of cylinder, what is the cylinder? What happens in cylinder? In cylinder, heat transfer will take place in a radial direction. In a wall, heat transfer will take place in a single direction. It's like a rectangular coordinate system, then circular coordinate system, cylindrical coordinate system, and then if it is a sphere, spherical coordinate system. Okay, so the reference of frame is different. for different objects. You need to understand this very very carefully. Most of the people make mistake in heat conduction in understanding and segregating these two topics. One is rectangular coordinate system, another is cylindrical coordinate system, third is spherical coordinate system. So we need to be very clear on what we are learning. Okay, unit 2. So the first unit is basic heat transfer modes, and then heat conduction. Second unit is one dimensional steady state heat conduction with heat generation. In unit 1 without heat generation, in unit 2 with heat generation. Okay, heat transfer through extended surface. It is like a fin. Okay, you have this wall, there is an extended surface, and if there is a heat transfer, like you can see in case of bikes, so where there is a spark plug and cylinder is there where the ignition is taking place, that is covered with, you find those small surfaces covered on the cylinder side. So those are film, those are extended surfaces. So this is unit 2. Third unit, very simple. अब ये है कि if I cover all those surfaces with insulation, what will happen? What will happen if I change the thickness of the insulation? What is the economic and cost consideration, payback period? So it's transient heat conduction. What is the validity? If there is a continuous change in heat transfer from time to time, that is transient heat conduction. How does it affect the performance? What is the validity and criteria of lump systems analysis? What is Biot number? What is Fourier number? Time constant, response of thermocouple. Thermocouple is generally used for the measurement of temperature. So what is the time constant? If I put that thermocouple on this plane, which is very hot, if I put that thermocouple on this plane, so how much time does it take to capture that heat and respond to the sensors? That is time response. Okay, because thermocouple is also a bead. It is a small bead, but still the heat needs to transfer, has to travel some distance, so it creates a lag. Okay, so that is time response, and it is very very important in case of when there is a real process going on and you need to measure real time data. Okay, unit 4 is convection. Now we come to the unit 4 is the most important topic if you are looking to this subject from the point of view of learning something. 70 to 80% of the problems will come under unit 4. From unit 1 to unit 3 is conduction, and conduction and convection covers almost most of the heat transfer processes. Radiation, when radiation comes into picture, oh my god, I can't tell you. Then you need a supercomputers to solve those problems. Radiation is totally non-linear equations and you are totally on different plane. Okay, so pure radiation is very very sophisticated area. You need to understand radiation very carefully, and there are different methods: discrete coordinate system, then you have Monte Carlo method. So many scientists have contributed many things to the radiation, and it is purely numerical. Okay, so in unit 4, convection. What is fundamental of convection? What is the mechanism of natural and forced convection? How does the heat transfer takes place? How does my body interacts with the atmosphere? How the natural convection takes place? What is the local? What is the temperature at this point? What is the temperature at this point? This is local. But if I take the average of these two, it becomes average for the body. So local heat transfer, average heat transfer coefficient, concept of velocity and thermal boundary layers. What happens if I increase or decrease the velocity? Mass flow rate. What happens with thermal boundary layers? That is fundamentals. Forced convection, again same thing. Natural convection. If I want to understand natural convection, what are those parameters based on which I can define that this particular natural convection is good, this particular natural convection is bad, it is not going to fit into the system. So then different dimensionless numbers comes into picture, which you have learned in fluid mechanics, and there are such dimensionless numbers in heat transfer as well. And very established one, you need to mug up those all definitions, and if you remember those numbers, most of your heat transfer is studied well. Unit 5 is radiation. What are the fundamentals of radiation? What is spectral and total emissive power? What is real and grey surface? What is black body? What is grey body? What is Stephen Boltzmann law, radiation laws, Planck's law, Wien's law, Kirchhoff law, Lambert's cosine law? So there are many things. Okay, so in radiation we will cover up these are the basic things, but we will be covering it. But it's a beautiful topic also, radiation. If you want to pursue a career in radiation, nothing like that. Okay, unit 6, heat transfer equipments. Now this is the application. As the course outcome suggests, you need to understand basic physics in the equipment. So unit 6, condensation and boiling. Again, two-phase flow. Condensation is what? Liquid, this one, vapor to liquid. Boiling is what? Liquid to gaseous phase. Two-phase flow. Boiling heat transfer. That we have said in the introduction itself. Pool boiling curve, force boiling phenomena, okay, and then heat exchangers. If there is a heat exchanger, how do you calculate the performance of that heat exchangers? There are certain numbers which those numbers will tell you something. What is the performance, what is the effectiveness of that heat exchangers? So guys, this is all about the syllabus that is covered in Pune University. You please go through this syllabus. The PPT is shared on LMS. You can log into your window and see this PDF. I will be sharing these notes in LMS system. And what are the books? Very important. You will love first two books. These are all foreign authors, in Cropera, and this one is Y.S. Angel and Ghazal. So if you want to understand, it's a storytelling. Book number 2 is a storytelling kind of thing. They have ample of examples and it is explained very beautifully, but numerically a little bit lagging. Numericals will not be covered much, but FP and in Cropera is mix of two, little bit hard to read. But once you understand this book in Cropera and David, it's most popular in heat transfer community. In Cropera and David, beautiful book, absolutely beautiful. If you can just mug up this book, this is the foundation of heat transfer in Cropera and David. If you understand this book, you can build floors and floors on it. I have read it, and with my personal, I have read it for two times when I was pursuing my PhD. 2 times. Literally, I knew it was like beautiful book. I love this book. For personally, I love this book. But when you, as a student, when I was learning, my first step was Sengel and Ghazal, book number 2. Once I understood that book, I shifted my book to book number 1 in Cropera and David. And numerical is very much needed in heat transfer. You need to understand numerical. From theoretical point of view, Sengel and Ghazal is very good book. Once you understand the theory, you can shift to in Cropera. Okay, then there are other books. Sukhatme sir's NPTEL video is also very much popular. You can go through those videos also. Very beautiful videos. Then Sachdeva is there, Nag is there, Rathod and Dompundwar. Dompundwar I have referred when I was in engineering, but I would give you first two books. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to this video. I hope this is my first video on heat transfer in online mode, and I hope you understand, and as we proceed we can definitely go on improving the quality of videos, and as I gain the experience, we will definitely have a good interaction. Thank you very much.